I'm 15 years old and I'm sitting at the dining room table with my 17-year-old brother and 3 of his friends playing Texas Hold'em. I lay down my 5 cards with a shy smile because I know I have the winning hand. One of my brother's friends throws his cards down on the table and goes, "Coté, is your sister one-upping us now?" An excited shiver washes over my body and I say, "Yeah, I did one-up you, Steve, and maybe if you weren't smoking so much weed, you'd stop giving us all your money." Everyone laughs. I'm killing it with my brother's friends. We've been playing poker since school finished. It's past dinner. My younger sisters are in bed, and my dad is out. I hear my mom coming up the stairs from her painting studio. Her slippers were dragging against the wooden steps a little more than usual. My stomach drops, and the heat rises in my body. My mom strides into the dining room loudly, where we're all seated. She's wearing skinny jeans, a turtleneck, her signature red hair and blowout. She's tanned, self-tanned, as always, with her pink shimmery lips. She greets everyone, and I can notice that she's swaying as she stands, leaning into one of my brother's friends with her hand on his shoulder. She says, "Hi, boys, what are you up to?" She looks down at one of my brother's friends, pokes his belt buckle, and says, "I think I have the same one." My brother and I shoot wide-eyed looks to one another, and I think to myself, why does she have to do this when his friends are here? My mom gets up and walks to the kitchen. She rustles around as we all sit there in silence. "Well, it's margarita time, boys. Do you want to come help me in the kitchen?" My brother's friends are laughing as they oblige, and I can't tell if they're delighted by my mother or horrified. My brother's face turns sullen. He has checked out for the evening and walks up to his room. Now it's just me, my brother's friends, and my mom in the kitchen. I watch as she progressively gets worse, mixing up margaritas, and I just can't believe I'm the one who's disapproving. I can't believe I'm going to be the parent here. Eventually, she starts really knocking things over, and I say, "Come on, Mom, let's get you upstairs." And I walk her up to her bedroom. She's stumbling the whole way as I anchor her. I check on my brother. He's just sitting in his room, silent. He won't even make eye contact with me. Finally, my dad comes home, and even though my throat feels so tight, even though it feels so scary to use my voice, I say to him, "Hey, Dad, Justin's in his room. His friends all just left. Mom was being really inappropriate. She was drunk, and she was trying to make drinks for them, and I had to take care of things and walk her up to bed while you weren't here." My dad looks at me and says, "Oh, Camille, it's fine. She just drank too much. It's not a big deal." And I feel confused. I think that was not okay, but maybe I was overreacting. And maybe that's just what some parents do. Like, maybe I shouldn't have said anything, and maybe I just should have gone up to my room too. But most of all, I feel flattened. When I was a kid, my mom was, I think, a normal mom. She seemed to be, although she wasn't very affectionate the way my grandparents were. Like, I would ask her for a hug, but I remember always feeling a little bit embarrassed to do it. And I'd get a quick hug, but she wouldn't rub my back or stroke my hair, all the other things my grandparents would do. But it was only when I was a teenager that I really noticed the weight of her behavior and her actions. A couple of years after that incident, she and I are sitting, talking in the kitchen, and I'm telling her about my new school. It's my 3rd high school because my mom loves to move. And I tell her how school is going pretty well. I find it kind of easy to make friends because I get a lot of practice. And then she says, "I have to talk to you about something soon." And I say, "Why, are you and Dad getting a divorce?" And she says, "Yeah, we are." And I feel tense, but also outside of my body. Like, this can't be me. This can't be possible. This is too much change. I was not expecting this. And she says, "Now, I'm going to tell the rest of the family in a couple of days, and I don't want you to tell anyone. I'm not going to talk about this, but especially don't talk to your dad about this." And so for 2 days, I just tried to avoid talking to my entire family while holding the secret. And eventually we have a family meeting, our first and our last. And they explained to us, "Look, we're going to separate and Mom's going to go live in the other house." And they explained to us that my 2 younger sisters will go and stay with her on the weekends, but me and my brother would just stay with my dad the whole time. I'm now 19, and I'm sitting in a garden with my mom. It's the garden of the house she's now living in with her old boyfriend from high school. And we're talking about what I've started doing, which is stand-up comedy, and I'm telling her about how much I love it. Like the feeling you get from making a whole room of people laugh when you know exactly the point they're going to hopefully laugh. And there are things that I don't tell her, like I love that I feel heard. And I love that I sit in these rooms and people are telling the truth about things, but in this way that's like seeing what's funny about fucked up things and removing the shame. And not only do I love that for the opportunity to remove the shame, but hearing other people's stories resonate. And I started thinking like, maybe I'm not the problem here, like maybe it's her. But I also know that I still need her, that's why I'm here. And I start telling her about how much I love the movie Bridesmaids. The movie had just come out, and I tell her about how much I love it. It's an all-women cast. They're funny, and they're trailblazing the comedy world. And she goes, yeah, I did not get that movie at all. I did not find it funny. And I say, but in my head, I don't care how you feel about this. You know, and then I think, whoa, and I zone out for a bit. And then I zone back in, and she's quickly talking about herself again because, you know, she's moved on quickly for wanting to talk about me, and she starts talking about parenting, herself, her life, and she starts talking about living with my dad and raising us. And she says, yeah, I mean, I've done my time. I'm in a different stage now. I'm done with doing the mom thing. And I think, you know, you guys can take it from here. When my grandpa died, I saw her at the funeral. She wore a fluorescent pink mini dress. And we were standing chatting, me, my siblings. And it's like she was a distant aunt or like a high school classmate. My siblings and I were giving each other looks the entire time. And for once, instead of feeling angry, I was feeling sad for her. Like, you're missing out on all our lives. How sad. I'm 25 now. And I've just moved out for the first time into my own place. It's me and my cat, and I'm happy. I'm in a good space. And one night I wake up from this dream, which was a nightmare. I wake up from a nightmare that was my mom alone in a hospital. And I think I need to make sure she's okay. And I send her a message saying, would you like to come over for tea and talk? And she says yes. We've never really talked about our lack of relationship, but I'm now in a place where I can do this. So we're gonna do this. And I'm excited to tell her about my new life. The last time I saw her, I was going through a horrible breakup with a guy I was seeing, and now I've got a new girlfriend. I hear a knock on the door. She's arrived. I open it. She says, hello, and we have a brief hug. She says, I brought some tea and here's a painting from my latest collection. I wanted to give it to you as a housewarming gift. She passes a massive canvas and steps inside my apartment. The painting is very beautiful. I know how long she takes to perfect her work, and I can tell this one took a lot of effort. We sit down on either side of the tiny table in my tiny apartment, and she says, guess who I bumped into last week? And I say, who? And she says, the name of my ex-boyfriend. And she says, oh, and we had this whole conversation about you. And she starts going on and on about it. And I suddenly feel so hot in my body. I'm pissed. And I want her to leave. I'm thinking, these two people who don't know anything about me are having a conversation about me, and you're bringing it up now? Like it's like a gossip fest? And I'm feeling angry. I'm so angry with her, but I'm also feeling really angry with myself. Because I'm like, why am I letting this affect me? Why did I think this would be any different? Eventually, she leaves, and I take the painting, and I put it under my bed. I want to throw it out, but I also know that I'm not gonna throw it out. But if my cat scratches it or something falls in it, I don't care about the painting. I don't care about the painting. The painting starts to collect dust, and I stopped calling my mom. But I don't stop thinking about her. I talk about her in therapy, I write about her, I talk about her on stage, I write about her in my journal, and I do forgiveness meditation like it's my full-time job. Things keep going well with my girlfriend. She eventually moves into my tiny apartment, we get married, and I'm still thinking about my mom, but it's not taking me down like it was. Because I started going through all the work. I started to think about the fact that to not have had a close relationship with her kids and to have not wanted one, she must be in a lot of pain. To actively choose to be that isolated from her family, I can never understand. She must be in a lot of pain. And I can't imagine what that kind of pain is. Pain that she obviously hasn't addressed. One afternoon in our new apartment, a house that my wife, my cat, and my dog moved into, I stand in front of a wall. My wife puts in 2 nails. And I pick up the painting. And I hang it up because I forgive her. Thank you.
Camille Coté and the painting.